Absolute chaos. That's how it's being described behind the scenes at Warner Brothers as meetings are being delayed to be determined when they'll ever come back to see the light of day. And guess what, folks? Leadership lurching as they're learning the hostile takeover details. Turns out hiding info from shareholders may not have gone so well. Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's exclusive time, giving you the info you will find nowhere else. A PhD level of understanding into what's going on. And we have to say a huge thank you to our sources, whom we protect always. Folks, click the like button. Let's dive into the latest between Warner Brothers, Netflix, and Paramount Skydance. It's a dance that is not going well for those who perhaps wanted to hide info from their shareholders. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at that water tower and it's about to be owned by somebody and probably not Netflix. Reuters has the story here. We'll get to the exclusive in just a second. This is by Aditya Soni and Harshita Mary Varghese. It says, Warner Brothers' lack of response fueled Paramount's hostile bid, filing says. Now, what's this talking about? It's talking about something that we're just discovering, and that is there may have been, I don't want to say illegality, because I don't think we're there yet, but something stinks at Warner Brothers. Something is amiss. We'll come back to this. First, the exclusive. Out of thatparkplace.com by Marvin Montanaro. Warner Brothers Discovery has abruptly postponed their employee town hall as Paramount hostile takeover bid rages on. Jonas, Marvin, I'll let you guys walk us through this one. This is literally just breaking. What do you guys have on this story? What's happening at Warner Brothers today?
We had a source close to the situation reach out to that Park Place, specifically about the fact that on Friday, a employee town hall was scheduled where they actually gathered questions. They had employees submit questions that were all going to be answered today regarding the future of the company. And then very suddenly today, the rug got pulled out from under everybody. They canceled the town hall. No explanation given, but we can all pretty much assume why it was done. We were also told by this source that everything is up in the air right now over there. We were told that the tenor within the company has completely shifted after. Do
we know in what way, Marvin? Do we know in which direction that tenor may have shifted? Like, is the mood upbeat? Is it hectic? Is it stressful?
No, but the word we heard was chaos on internal chats.
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
So this is something. This is a company that's already been barreling towards a separation that was supposed to happen in next year, Q2 of next year, and now that's been postponed. And they were rushing to try to get to that separation point where they create different entities within the company in order to facilitate two until they can finally figure out how to actually separate Discovery from Warner Brothers. Now that's been pushed back, and also everybody wants to know who they're working for. That's one thing. HR did say, oh no, you work for the same person you work for right now, which is classic HR to go ahead and say that.
I'm a little confused why there would be chaos. I'm not really, but you would think they would be so happy because after it came out that Paramount is ready to buy up Warner Brothers Discovery up, their stock is rising. And you guys will remember that we all sat around when Netflix announced they were going to grab it. We said, wait a minute, why is this stock not matching what it is they're saying it's worth, what they're going to buy it for? Now it seems to be escalating up towards what Paramount has declared. Seems like investors actually believe that Paramount is going to put their money where their mouth is. Netflix, there was some doubt maybe. So this is a little strange, but investors are paying attention to it. Let's go to the Reuters story. I want everybody to understand just what transpired. This is incredible stuff. You're not going to believe it. It says Paramount Skydance's 11th hour hostile $108.4 billion bid for Warner Brothers Discovery was rooted in what it considered lack of responsiveness, which is, folks, let me just tell you, that is understating, understating what was said. Get ready. I want to dive down into this. It says Zaslav, that's the CEO of Warner Brothers, called Ellison, that's the guy in charge of Skydance Paramount, and is the son of the father of the second richest family on the planet, behind Elon Musk. Called Ellison on December 3rd to relay concerns from Warner Brothers board about Paramount's bid. Later that same day, Warner Brothers legal advisors told Paramount's counsel that the board viewed the absence of a full backstop from Ellison's family as a negative. Okay. On December 4th, following a Paramount Skydance board meeting where it agreed to improve a previous offer, Ellison texted David Zaslav, according to the regulatory filing, quote, I heard you on all your concerns and believe we have addressed them in our new proposal. Please give me a call back. By mid-morning that day, Paramount sweetened its bid, but having received no response from Zaslav in his text, Ellison tried again around 4 p.m., adding this: it would be, quote, the honor of a lifetime to be your partner. Paramount's bankers and Ellison told Warner Brothers and Zaslav that their new $30 per share offer, or $108.4 billion, was not the best and final, signaling they could go higher. But Ellison's phone never rang. By 11 p.m. that night, media reports began swirling that Warner Brothers had entered exclusive talks with Netflix to sell its TV and film studios as well as the streaming businesses that house HBO Max. Folks, do you know what this means? Warner Brothers was given notice. They had a better deal from Paramount.
Ignored it.
And that it could go up higher. And in spite of being told this is not the final, we can go higher, Warner Brothers denied their shareholders the opportunity to even know this was happening behind the scenes, ghosted Skydance, ghosted the Ellisons, and I can only assume that Zaslav and his board thought that Netflix would be final and that Paramount would give in. By Monday, we're into hostile takeover territory. And Marvin, I'm going to say this, we've been very positive in the past on the Valiant Renegade channel and other places about David Zaslav. I think that if Paramount gets this deal done, Zaslav is out and his name is crapola around Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yeah, it is. So we have an article up this morning on that Park Place about the SEC filing that Paramount made, in which they document this very thoroughly about the fact that they reached out, they gave the they put out there the better offer, and then it was completely and utterly ignored. And then they close it down with a list of questions WBD shareholders should be asking themselves. Number one, did WBD thoroughly review Paramount Skydance's fully backstopped bid? If so, why did WBD agree to Netflix's proposal with lower economic value and less certainty? What value is WBD attributing to the global network's equity? What supports the view that Netflix can clear regulatory hurdles in a reasonable time frame? And was the sale process fair and robust? These are all questions that have to be answered. And honestly, this is one of the most complete deals where every I is dotted, every T is crossed. It is on paper 100% a better offer. They even went so far as to have their foreign investors sign a document to state that they will seek no voting power in the company to bypass regulation there as well. I mean, this was as complete as you could possibly have made it. And it came with the promise of there's a better offer if we need to go there. Yeah. That's what this is the problem. And this is what's going to get Zaslav and the Warner Brothers board perhaps in hot water. Is that when you have somebody making that kind of a bid that's already better, probably, it gets into some subjectivity, but not a lot here. When you've got one side offering you a better bid, you ghost them and you take the other offer. That's bad enough. But when the person offering the better bid also says we can go higher if we need to, and you ignore it and you don't bring that to your shareholders, oh my! And now the shareholders, they got to be wondering, because this is the same offer that was made last week now, just put out in the public. The shareholders have to wonder, what was that higher bid we could have had? What have we been denied? And that's why this is going to get real ugly real fast. And as we are exclusively reporting right now here on the channel, that town hall canceled for tomorrow. Jonas, you want to give us any more color on that? Exactly what's going on with the town hall? What was the town hall supposed to be about?
The town hall, they had actually received questions already, as Marvin said. They asked employees to submit questions, and then the Paramount bid became very public. And by the way, this is the same bid that they had released in the past. They're just making it public and filing it with the SEC. Right. Now they've got egg on their face for rejecting Paramount, and so they have now said, okay, well, we're going to wait on those questions. They didn't just say we're canceling the town hall. We're pushing it back to a date, and we don't know when that date will be.
The other thing we have to look at is, if you're Zaslav, do you want to take a question now from the town hall where one of your employees asks, are you still going to be here now if Paramount does a hostile takeover? Culture, I don't think they want to answer those kinds of questions now. And I think it's looking very murky. I think everybody at Warner Brothers in leadership has to be quite worried because this was mismanaged to such a level on Friday, it severed the goodwill between their probable new bosses.
Well, it indicates some underlying motivation of the leadership at Warner Brothers Discovery to accept a less competitive bid. There's some kind of motivation that's underlying here to take less money for your shareholders.
Right. Yep.
That I think is going to have to be sussed out.
That's why this smells, Culture.
Yeah.
No, Zaslav's a shrewd businessman. Why did they suddenly ghost Paramount and go with a lesser offer? Why did they do that? That doesn't make any sense from a business standpoint. None whatsoever. Something smells.
Something is very off here, and it's one of the reasons why I think you saw objections early on from both sides of the political aisle for Netflix acquisition, and why they both want to ask a series of questions and have solicited an unbiased report on what's happening here. So, look, to make the suggestion that this is not in shareholders' best interest is the obvious statement here. The unobvious motivation is the thing that I think that Zaslav is going to get caught up in. And if you have to consider this, isn't 71% of Warner Brothers Discovery still held by AT&T?
Yeah, I think so.
So wouldn't they have wanted a better deal for their interest?
It depends on what their interests are, Culture. Doesn't it?
Let me throw another wrinkle into this.
So my question is, the people who have large, and I would think this is something that, Culture, you'd be right on it. We've heard people complain, well, it's the Saudi money that's funding Paramount's bid. Maybe up to a quarter of it, not the entirety of it. The Ellisons are the ones who have more influence there, but BlackRock has a large portion of Netflix at this point, and probably a large portion of Warner Brothers. So that would just be institutional shareholders like BlackRock increasing their shares with the Netflix deal.
Right. Well, Vanguard, it's both Vanguard and BlackRock that hold about 20% of Warner Brothers Discovery. Most people don't realize that, but in actual share value. So you look at that, you look at AT&T's vested interest, and obviously the shareholders at AT&T, I mean, nobody's being represented fairly here, at least not based on the acceptance of an inferior deal. This thing reeks. Pretty good.
I think Tom at Midnight's Edge was saying that AT&T owns about 10% of Warner Brothers, and I have a friend who was trying to say to me, well, maybe they push it off because they feel like Netflix is the stronger option for the company going forward in terms of management, because Paramount has been so mismanaged and Ellison is so untested. And I said, AT&T doesn't care about that. AT&T wants their money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me throw another wrinkle into this real quick, guys.
Okay.
Netflix. Now, this is behind a paywall, and ethically, what's our rule here, ladies and gentlemen? We don't read articles behind a paywall, so we're not going to do that. But the headline is sufficient. Out of Fortune by Nick Lichtenberg and Ava Reutberg, it says, Netflix CEO brushes aside Paramount's entirely expected hostile bid, super confident of closing the deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. I don't know what to make of this because Netflix has not counter-offered with another, with a hostile takeover of their own. So I don't know how Netflix can be super confident unless there's something really unexpected behind the scenes going on. We haven't heard anything about that yet. I don't know why the next Netflix CEO is talking that way. I don't know what Sarandis, is doing here. When you've got Jared Kushner, Trump's brother-in-law or son-in-law, when Trump's son-in-law is working on the hostile takeover bid for Paramount, I have no idea what Netflix is up to with this statement.
I think that he has to portray confidence right now, or his stock is going to tank again. Because if all of a sudden he was just like, "Oh no!" like it would be, they would completely lose the confidence of their shareholders.
If I were Netflix right now, the way I would play this is I would come out and say, this is a ludicrous amount they're willing to spend. If they want to take it for that amount,
we'll walk away.
Let them waste their money. We will not. That's the way to handle this.
They need to handle it that way, because then it dismisses the impropriety that's being suggested and saves them from a potential end of a scandal that I don't think they want to be involved in. You don't, especially since it's tied deeply in political ways. And look, I didn't really want to get into the political conversation here, but there's nothing but politics involved.
Go for it, culture. There's no holding you back. Go for it.
So, the Kushner aspect of it makes a lot of sense, right? But that's not the only side of things, right? Susan Rice, the former UN ambassador for the Obamas, is a member of the board of Netflix. And they have a heavy involvement because of their partnership with Netflix in content production. So you've got a lot of politics already at play here from various sides, from various interests to different degrees about who's going to make the most amount of money. The only thing that should be the center of conversation here is what makes the Warner Brothers shareholders the most amount of money. That's the only conversation that would be here. And because of a fully backstopped deal that Marvin went into great deal to explain by, the folks over at now Paramount or Skydance or whoever you want to talk about, if you follow the money, that's where the money is. So it's safer for Netflix to walk away for this at this point. It will preserve their stock price after it was a 10-to-1 split, right, Jonas?
At Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, I think Jonas is muted, but because of that kind of a split, the stock value changed rapidly, and then to add this on top of it all,
20%.
Yeah, I'd be very concerned as a shareholder right now that Netflix was involved in something shady that they could later be penalized for, because some of the penalties that any of these companies could be setting themselves up for are not insubstantial. So like I said, I would be very concerned, because you have, again, political powerhouses like Fakahontas out there. I mean, Elizabeth Warren, sorry, have to be careful. But and many others, including Bernie Sanders, that are going after this deal, despite the fact that many of them are incredible stock traders when it comes to media companies. So, not to suggest that the politicians have anything that would be involved here that would be improper, but hey, so I just think in order for this to proceed in a smoother manner, I think Netflix needs to figure out how to moonwalk out of this and maybe save, a conversation with their employees for much, much later down the road. Like Ron, after they lose the bid.
Ron, here's where it gets real shaky. If Paramount ends up buying Warner Brothers, they're going to get access, one would believe, to the communications between Warner Brothers and Netflix on that Friday afternoon. That's going to be very interesting. And I am shocked, but it seems to me that both Netflix and Warner Brothers, despite what they're claiming, did not expect a hostile takeover bid, at least not this quickly. Your thoughts, Ron?
No, like my earlier question was, what is Netflix's response to all of this? And you answered that question, but it's a non-response response. It's not like they're portraying confidence. Yes, I understand that, but there's so many questions to be asked in this situation. When we knew that Paramount and the Ellisons basically started the entire conversation with Warner Brothers, and it's when there's a better deal on the line, and an obvious better deal, and people don't know about it, stockholders don't know about it, people with a vested financial interest are kept in the dark. That I don't know if it's illegal. It certainly does seem awfully shady, and I would love to know what all that communication looked like between Netflix and Warner Brothers. I mean, was there any communication? There was none from Warner Brothers to Paramount acknowledging that deal was going to exist. But was there communication between Netflix and Warner Brothers that, hey, Paramount is coming in here with this,
Right.
And
Was there a
keeping
message
that-
that said?
Right.
Was there a message that said we got to go fast, guys? We got to make the announcement now, or else you're not gonna be able to play ball with them. They've offered they've offered to go even higher. Don't know, folks. We're not suggesting that, but one thing we are doing is bringing you the exclusive. Again, nobody else reporting this yet, but Warner Brothers Discovery postponing a employee town hall indefinitely, as it looks now like Paramount has scrambled the deck for them, shuffled them up, and perhaps even shut up the leadership of Warner. And folks, we have come to the end yet again. Another video of excellence in the can. What a joy it has been to share time with you. We hope you enjoyed it as well. If so, consider clicking that like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. And as always, drop a comment down below. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, so waste not yours. Join a community dialogue today, just on down below. Folks, we are going to say farewell for now, but we will see you back. 4 is more, and that's how many videos we put out every single day here on the Pro Channel. Hope you enjoy them all. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.